It hurt me more than I ever expected to witness it, not because of the pain itself, but because it came from a place of love, responsibility, and the difficult truth that sometimes lessons must be felt to be understood. What happened that summer changed my son forever, and even now, years later, I can still remember every moment with uncomfortable clarity. My name is Daniel Carter, and I used to believe that being a good father meant protecting my child from everything painful. I was wrong. Some pain doesn't destroy you. Some pain builds you. My son, Ethan, was 16 when the change began. He wasn't a bad kid. In fact, most people would have called him polite, intelligent, and well-mannered. Teachers praised him. Neighbors admired him. Friends' parents trusted him. But inside our home, I saw something others didn't. Ethan had grown careless, entitled, distant. His mother, Rachel, and I had raised him with love, but somewhere along the way, comfort had replaced discipline. He had never gone without. When he made mistakes, we softened the consequences. When he failed, we made excuses. When he disrespected us, we brushed it off as just a phase. That phase kept growing. It started with small things. Missed curfews. Ignored chores. A sharp tone when spoken to. Then came the bigger issues. Skipped classes. Lies that didn't even sound convincing. Money disappearing from my wallet, followed by careless apologies when confronted. Rachel noticed it too, but she handled it differently. She worried. I watched. One evening, after Ethan came home 3 hours late without answering his phone, Rachel broke down in the kitchen. She asked me what we had done wrong. I didn't have an answer. All I knew was that something had to change. The moment that changed everything came on a quiet Saturday morning. I had asked Ethan to help me clean out the garage. He rolled his eyes and told me he'd do it later. Later never came. When I reminded him, he snapped at me, his voice loud and dismissive. "You're always on my back," he said. "It's not a big deal." Something inside me cracked, not in anger, but in realization. This wasn't teenage rebellion anymore. This was a lack of respect. A lack of accountability. I didn't yell. I didn't punish him that day. Instead, I made a decision that would hurt me deeply to carry out. I told Ethan that starting the next Monday, things would be different. He laughed, assuming it was another empty warning. Rachel looked at me with concern, unsure of what I meant. I didn't explain then. Monday morning arrived, and Ethan woke up late, as usual. He expected Rachel to wake him, to rush him, to excuse him. Instead, I stood in the doorway and told him calmly that if he missed the bus, he would walk. He missed it. The walk to school was nearly 4 miles. He protested. He complained. He accused me of being unfair. I watched him leave, backpack slung over his shoulder, anger written across his face. It hurt to watch him walk away like that. It hurt more than I expected. That afternoon, when he came home exhausted and silent, I didn't ask questions. I simply handed him a list. Chores. Responsibilities. Clear expectations. Clear consequences. Rachel pulled me aside later, tears in her eyes, asking if I was being too hard. I told her the truth. I'm being fair. For the first time. The days that followed were the hardest I've ever lived through as a parent. Ethan resisted everything. He tested boundaries. He argued. He sulked. He accused me of ruining his life. Each accusation felt like a knife, but I stayed firm. No rides unless responsibilities were done. No allowance without contribution. No excuses accepted without evidence. When he failed a test because he didn't study, I didn't intervene. When his coach benched him for missing practice, I didn't argue. I watched him struggle, and it broke my heart. There were nights I sat alone in the living room, wondering if I was pushing him too far. Rachel and I argued quietly, afraid to let Ethan hear. She wanted to soften the rules. I asked her to trust me. The turning point came 3 weeks later. Ethan came home soaked from the rain, shoes ruined, shoulders slumped. He didn't complain. He didn't slam doors. He went straight to his room. That night, he knocked on my door. I'll never forget the look on his face. He wasn't angry. He wasn't defensive. He looked tired. Older somehow. I get it, he said quietly. I waited. I get what you're doing, he continued. I didn't before. But I do now. He told me about the walk in the rain. About watching other kids get picked up by parents. About realizing how often he had taken everything for granted. About failing a quiz because he hadn't prepared and having no one to blame but himself. I hated you for it, he admitted. But I needed it. I felt tears sting my eyes, but I didn't let them fall. Not yet. From that night on, Ethan changed. Not overnight. Not perfectly. But genuinely. He started setting his alarm. He did his chores without being asked. When he messed up, he owned it. When he succeeded, he earned it. The sarcasm faded. The distance closed. Rachel saw it too. She hugged me one night and whispered, "You were right." The hardest part was knowing that the lesson had required discomfort. That love sometimes means standing firm while your child struggles. That guidance isn't always gentle. Years later, Ethan is grown. He's responsible, kind, resilient. He works hard. He respects others. He respects himself. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sun set, he told me something I will carry with me forever. You know, he said, that summer changed my life. It hurt back then. But it made me who I am. I nodded, my throat tight. It hurt me to witness his struggle. It hurt me to let him face consequences. But the lesson changed him forever. And I would endure that pain again if it meant raising a man instead of shielding a boy. Because sometimes, the hardest lessons are the ones that teach us how to stand on our own.